And that's just me, my little micro contributions. And the problem with our lives is sometimes, like, yo, I've seen people make jokes. Man, you go look at the jokes people make, bro. Oh my gosh, a lot of American humor is derived in white man good, everyone else is goofy. And I'm not like saying it to like talk shit. It's just I rewatch a lot of comedies with my like social justice lens. Cause yeah, okay, fine, I'm a left-wing libertarian type. That's kind of where I lean, just for full biases. But I watch some of this shit and I'm like, yo, after learning about what women told me and stuff, that's not funny. After learning about consent, that's not funny. Yeah. Animal House is kind of wild if you think about it.
Oh, bro, fucking even the early 2000s. If you watch anything from the early 2000s, they're dropping F-bombs, and I don't mean fuck. They're dropping real rude shit. Like, me and my wife are just sitting there like, holy shit. Like, how did we not see that? Because, early 2000s was me and my wife's upbringing. So we were inundated with that shit. So it's like we saw that every day, and it never even registered to us. And now we're sort of like, as we look back in time, we can sort of step back and be like, wow, that is really fucked up. But
imagine like
the shitty part of me though, and the shitty part of my, not the shitty part, actually, there's no shitty parts of my wife. She is a golden angel, but she also laughs at some of the inappropriate shit too, because what, there is some absurdity to it, and I get what you're saying. Like, the rape shit is not that funny at all, like that. But there are situations and some shit that gets inappropriate that's not acceptable anymore. But it can be funny. But I'm not trying to pick shit apart or name anything in particular. It's just I also see value in funny, and even if people are getting punched down on it sometimes, because as a fat guy and as a former fat guy, fat jokes to me are so funny. And I'm sorry, fat people who fucking get all sad about it, but fat jokes are funny. I'm fat. Sorry, I'm fat, and I still laugh at fat jokes. My bad. I think it's hilarious.
It's more like, for me, and I don't agree. Nobody agrees with me. I don't really laugh a lot. You may have noticed I'm not a huge laugher. In your chats, you may have seen the level of severity I take to everything.
You do, so, like, you do, and I appreciate that, actually.
But like, that's just so everyone needs to take into account that I'm not funny by any conceivable metric of intent. Usually, I'm funny because I'm aloof more than or like I spit facts in a way that people find fucking funny. Yeah. Bonnie's saying I'm a real hoot. I mean, but yo, people find me entertaining, and I'll take the knowledgeable. I mean, I know you said knowledge. I'm pretty knowledgeable, but I do laugh hardy when I laugh, when you can get me. But usually it's some stark, blunt truth shit that makes me laugh. That's the funniest shit in the world. When somebody says the shit that nobody says. That's what George Carlin did. That's the only thing, and he never punched down. And everybody holds him up as a candle to like the greatest motherfucker. Richard Pryor never punched down. Everybody holds him up as the greatest. Well, he never punched down. Holds him up as the greatest, or at least he evolved and stopped dropping M-bombs, whatever. And you know what? All the people that revere these people punch down. And I'm like, bro, that's like listening to Eminem and then like not even learning a damn thing about how he rhymes and just rapping like the worst rapper ever and saying, yo, but Eminem's my hero. I rap just like him. I'm like, no, you don't. You suck. And that's kind of like what I hear when I hear the intent behind a joke. Because if your joke is just to talk about front page Reddit news, chances are you're not saying anything. Whereas these people made observational comedy that was excellent satire of actual issues with the intent of bridging gaps and shit. Mm-hmm. So people read your intent, is I feel like what happens a lot in the world. And like most people know that like my intent is like curiosity. I say some dumb shit a lot. I forgot where I was going with this. I legitimately got distracted looking at Bonnie's face.
Yeah, that's all right. You're struck by your girl's beauty, man. There you go.
It happens. But like, anyway, I completely forgot my point. But I had to say, sometimes you just have to like accept that like the weird conversations happen so that people can learn from them, and sometimes we're the pawns in that.
Some things are funny to some people, and some things aren't funny to other people. Like, you have a different sense of humor than I do.
I'm not funny. Comedy. I remember now. Yo, most comedy that I see is derived in this intention to say that person's life is worse than mine, thus I feel better. And I find it weird. It looks like, almost like people use comedy the way drug addicts for dopamine releases. And that's my, like, really not funny critical analysis of most people's taste in comedy. It's derived from, like, the same shit that gets you likes on Facebook. And it's entirely like that person's life's worse than mine, so I can sleep better at night. And I'm like, that's some toxic shit to me. And I understand that I'm the weirdo here, but I don't feel differently with that
You're
every
not that
time.
weird. I mean, there's definitely like, I mean, like there's a lot of people who feel that way too. I mean, obviously, there's people out there who want these
To
comedians
be
to
fair,
not
y'all
be
can say
comics.
what you want to say. I'd rather y'all say your jokes. Then I know who says what.
Yeah, me too. Me too. That's another part of speech that's very valuable is that when you know what someone is where someone's coming from, then you know who to avoid or who to reach out to or who to just who to invite your home. But I don't know, man. Like the idea of comedy and jokes and stuff. Like I'm of the school is like if it's a joke, if it's a good joke and it's funny, then it's funny. I mean, if it's someone just saying like that N word, N bombing, just to be like shocking or something, like you have to be. That's the thing. You can say these fucking things that you're not supposed to say, but if you say it in a way that's just like not funny or stupid, then yeah, you should probably be canceled just because you fucking
But
suck at
no,
being
nobody
a
should be
joke writer.
canceled. I feel like canceled is such
I'm
a.
just joking,
I know
but
y'all are playing on that canceled thing. I saw
oh,
your.
dude, I love. Well, I hate cancel culture, but no, in the most serious way, it's like these comedy is there to alleviate and to alleviate the absurdity of life, and because life is so ridiculous and absurd that there has to be someone to relieve that fucking anxiety out there and say these things that might it might the idea is some of these people are saying things to make a point, some people are just saying things to make you laugh, and the idea is to laugh. If it's a shitty joke, it's a shitty joke, and maybe they do need to
Well,
apologize for it, but
that's. I think what's happening is that a lot of people think a lot of those jokes are shitty jokes, and what the real debate is what's funny. But
yeah.
it's not government induced. It's that, like, a lot of people think, yo, I've seen a lot of people make jokes that I'm like, that's a trash joke, in my opinion. Again, I don't think I'm funny. So my opinion's trash. But sometimes I look at the intent, and an example would be like a left wing person in Canada making fun of Republicans because they're stupid. And I'm like, if you really think about that joke, it's really kind of like ignorant on all levels. Like, it doesn't matter how you spin it. The whole reason, so it's like you can say a lot of hateful shit, but because you say it's about Republicans, that's like okay.
Right.
And they believe this is funny. And you know what? A lot of people who might hate Republicans may also think that that's really funny. But myself, as a person who cares just about the language, that's all I care about. I just look at the language of your joke and I think about it at like a literal level. That's
Well,
why I'm
like,
not funny. I
look at
go,
the joke of
that joke is just all kinds of hate for a wide group of people that you don't know anything about. And that's how sometimes a lot of jokes feel to a lot of people. Now, is it funny? Yeah, it actually is to a lot of people, but it's also not funny to a lot of people. And I
well,
think that the comics also should be cognizant of that when they choose to make edgy humor and not be so fucking butthurt when they choose to make edgy humor because they
right.
chose to put the edgy humor into
And
the
that's
world. When I
I
make
agree with
edgy shit, I deserve whatever comes from it. I made a Tom McDonald clickbait video. I get fucking Tom McDonald fans hating on me to this every fucking week. You can ask Bonnie. She sees the channel. I got one today. And I deleted a petty comment and wrote a less petty comment. But like these
that.
motherfuckers are like constantly coming at me. But can I be mad? I call Tom McDonald clickbait. I deserve whatever the fuck I get from his fan base, whether or not it's rational. I knew what I was doing, and I did it because it's clickbait. I was
Yeah.
copying Tom McDonald. I felt he was inspiration to me, this clickbait rapper motherfucker. I'm very happy to call him that because that's what he is.
Get in? How do we get in? It's just it's funny. It's funny that there are certain people though that you can make fun of and it's okay. Like white people, like you can fucking call a white woman Karen all day long, and that's okay. And if you're offended, then fuck you.
Well,
You should be
it's
feeling
because
white guilt.
people
And
don't like a particular
but it's
kind
okay.
of
But it's
person.
Yeah, but is it okay to marginalize this person as a particular
Yeah,
person?
but
Yeah,
what is this? Let's look at the definition of this Karen term. A Karen is a
yeah,
person who, in particular, takes like that lady that recently was in that fucking store in New Jersey who,
yeah.
when the camera
Awful,
came out.
awful people, awful
So
people. I
we're
get it.
talking about people who are particularly taking advantage of their whiteness to be racist, upon which, in that one context, if a person is being a Karen, given what a Karen is, or like a person who's abusing their fucking privilege to be extra white about that shit, I mean, I'm personally on board with it if it means that in those contexts.
No,
Then
yeah,
yes, I'll
I
go with
think
that
it's
shit.
hilarious.